Singapore expects to have most, if not all, of its economy back on track by June, Trade Minister Chan Chun Sing said on Monday. Singapore imposed restrictions in early April to blunt the spread of the outbreak, and temporarily closed schools while asking most offices to switch to remote work. Starting Tuesday, those measures are set to be eased in 3 phases. By Phase 1, we will have 80% of our economy all back on track. Then the last major remaining sectors will be retail and F&B, food and beverage, which we hope to reopen by the end of June, Chan told CNBC's Squawk Box. The city-state has one of the highest numbers of coronavirus cases in Asia, with more than 34,800 people infected so far, according to data from Johns Hopkins University. Most of the cases are associated with infection clusters in dormitories that house foreign workers who carry out labor-intensive construction jobs. Some people will be allowed to return to work in the first phase, though businesses are still encouraged to work from home whenever possible. Schools will also be reopening, though students will continue learning from home on some days. Chan said the government has worked with companies and workers to put in place the necessary measures for the work environment, transportation and social distancing in order to open safely, and most importantly, to open sustainably. Singapore will monitor the effects of increased activity in the first phase, and if the community infection rates remain low over the subsequent weeks, it would move on to the second phase. Chan said that the transmission of the virus through communities has stabilized in recent weeks, but it would take Singapore more time to clear through the worker dormitories and identify all of the cases, including the asymptomatic ones. Singapore was one of the earliest countries outside China to report cases, and it was initially seen to have contained the infection. However, large outbreaks in the packed dormitories led to a spike in infection cases, which triggered questions about the living conditions of foreign workers. Chan said Singapore has to go beyond just the size and hygiene standards of those dormitories as the country continues to assess the situation. The working environment, social mixing outside work hours also need to be looked at to ensure a safe return to work, he added. Most countries that appear to have successfully contained the infection now worry about a second wave of community transmission. South Korea, for example, reported a new infection cluster recently, pushing authorities to reintroduce social distancing measures. Chan said Singapore's safe resumption measures are meant to allow the government to zoom in on any particular infection clusters that might appear as the economy reopens. If something emerges again, we can close down that particular sector, isolate the problem and not have to close down the entire economy again, he said.